Fights don't get any more loaded than the main event of UFC 281. Israel Adesanya, undefeated at middleweight and the champ of the 185 division, takes on former kickboxing foe Alex Pereira for a third meeting within combat competition. The first two meetings, both under the banner of Glory Kickboxing, went Pereira's way, as the Brazilian won the first matchup by decision and the second by KO. But now, Izzy is the king, and it will be up to Pereira to come into Adesanya's division and take his crown from him. Considering what is at stake and the history between these two, there has never been a better fight in the middleweight division. Since losing those two kickboxing bouts, Izzy has gone on to climb to the top of the UFC 185 division, a division in which he has reigned over since unifying his interim belt in October of 2019. With a perfect 12-0 UFC record at 185, Israel has begun to lap the division. The Stylebender has beaten any and all contenders at least once, and some of them, like Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori, he's beaten twice. It's like Izzy has mastered the game at 185. His footwork and range is world-class, and his ability to get in and out of his striking range is impeccable. Adesanya has never been knocked down or outstruck in any fight in his UFC career, an incredible stat considering the competition that he's been up against. His body of work has been a beautiful piece of art to this point in his career, but he has yet to face a task like the one that is ahead of him at UFC 281. You see, Izzy's matchup against Alex Pereira will test Adesanya both physically and mentally. This is a guy in Alex Pereira that has not one, but 2 wins over Adesanya in kickboxing, and the Brazilian will feel extremely confident in this third meeting between the two. Pereira possesses a very special type of power in his strikes, something Izzy knows firsthand. Pereira flatlined Adesanya in the second meeting between these two in Glory, but Izzy fans would argue that their guy was clearly up on the scorecards. Problem is, with the smaller gloves, Pereira's power has only translated better in the UFC. In a 5-round fight, Pereira will only have to find that one shot that he knows he can land to put Izzy out. And this is just one path to victory for Pereira, who also has a win via decision over Adesanya in Glory. Since joining UFC, Pereira has been special. Poatan has fought just 3 times in the UFC, but his wins have been decisive each time out, with 1 unanimous decision win and 2 KOs, with his most notable KO win coming against Sean Strickland. Pereira absolutely cruised to this title shot. Truth is, we've yet to really see Pereira be tested in the UFC yet, which is crazy to think about considering he is fighting for the title already. To be fair to Pereira, he has plenty of combat experience. With 40 kickboxing matches under his belt, Pereira is much more seasoned than some may think. It could be argued that Pereira is getting this title shot a little early in his UFC career, but the UFC loves a good storyline, and with all other legitimate contenders at 185 already having their shot at Izzy, the rise of Pereira came at the perfect time. As for those who don't think Pereira is ready, just know that the bookies aren't agreeing with you. The betting line currently has Izzy as a -160 favorite, with Pereira coming back at +140. These odds represent the closest a betting line has been in one of Adesanya's fights in the last 2 years, as he has become accustomed to being a big favorite at the books. How might this fight play out? Both fighters are 6'4" and have an 80-inch reach, but Izzy will have a quickness advantage, while Pereira holds the power advantage. Neither Adesanya or Pereira have completed a single takedown in any of their fights so far, and it's highly unlikely that they'd choose to start wrestling for this one. Heavily influenced by their kickboxing backgrounds, these two will be standing and trading on their feet until this one is decided. Look for Pereira to push the pace and encourage engagements with Adesanya. Izzy would benefit from being able to point fight Pereira in this one, scoring shots while moving in and out of range. If he's able to execute this type of fight, which he has been in the majority of his last 3 title defenses, then Izzy could exact his revenge on Pereira by eking out a decision win. What is more likely to happen, though, is a high-paced kickboxing match in which both fighters will have their moments. Pereira's best path to victory is the KO, But Izzy is an elite counter-striker, and he is more than capable of landing a decisive punch himself if Pereira is not defensively responsible throughout the contest. If you're picking this fight, it is hard not to go with the proven, more experienced champ in Izzy Adesanya. We've yet to see Izzy beaten by a striker, and it would be insane if Pereira was to waltz into the UFC and take out Adesanya in just his 4th fight in the promotion. The history between these two makes this fight feel like it's straight from a movie script. On top of the incredible storyline, the styles that these two bring to the octagon will make for an amazing fight for as long as it lasts. When it comes to predicting this massive fight, tell us who you think wins, Izzy or Alex. Will their previous kickboxing matches play as big a factor as everyone thinks? Tell us about your thoughts on this historic fight in the comments below.